Hey, everybody. It's a lot of lesbians. Is it like a term? Is it like a gaggle of lesbians? A coven? A Melania? It's a Melania of lesbians. All right, so this is me. Thank you. Thank you. This is Sean Hannity. This is me on Sean Hannity. Any questions? You might have a few. Just to blow your mind a little further, in addition to having been a lefty commentator on Fox News for 2.5 years, and I really hope this isn't gonna mess with y'all, I'm gay. Y'all right? Thank you. That's what my mom said too. Anyway, really. So now, if that didn't do it, I'm really gonna mess with you. This is what Sean Hannity said on the jacket of my forthcoming book. Sally and I agree on very little politically, but somehow, in spite of that, we have navigated a friendship that transcends everything else. Have I got you yet? By the way, this is the part where I mentioned that my book, The Opposite of Hate, is available for pre-order now and comes out on April 10th. And in the book, I talk about what it was like to be a lefty lesbian on air at Fox News, all the hate I encountered from the world, but not just that, the hate that I realized I walked in to the room with. I went to Fox News thinking they were the hateful ones. They hated me, everything I stood for, everything I believed in. And what I eventually realized was it was more complicated than that. Yeah, that was part of the story, but they were also nice human beings who, in some regards, cared about some of the same things that I did, had the same fears, had the same worries, had the same dreams. And this is what really messed me up, I realized here I was feeling all judgmental at them for being so hateful, when in fact I was filled with my own hate too. I mean, can you wrap your head around that? Like that sanctimony, that sort of, oh my gosh, those people are so hateful, I hate them. That was me. It seemed totally rational and legitimate at the time. And then when I heard myself say it at one point, I realized how fucked up it was, you know? So my book tells those stories as well as the science, the psychology of why we hate, how we hate, and also stories of people who've overcome hate. Like a former neo-Nazi who's now a Buddhist, or a ex-Palestinian terrorist who went on to get a master's degree in Holocaust studies and is now a peace activist. So I figured if they could leave these extraordinary lives of hate behind, there was hope for the rest of us. There was a chance that the rest of us could learn not to be the people who sink that low into hate and otherizing and dehumanizing people. There was hope for all of us to be part of the solution, to be the ones who lift people up. After all, isn't that what we stand for? When we talk about fairness and equality and recognizing people's humanity and treating people the same, then shouldn't we be the ones who treat people, everyone, as good as we can? There's too much of this. There's too much of this online. There's too much of this in politics. There's too much of this in the world. I wanted to be more of this, right? Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that. Yeah, you clap now, but it's really hard to do, right? And it's one of those things we all, woo, I love that, yeah. And then we turn around and say hateful things about the other side or think them or whatever, and right? So I have a 9-year-old daughter, and we were out at night, past her bedtime, whatever, don't judge. And she's looking at the moon and she says, "Mama, the moon is so bright." And I explained to her, I said, "No, Willa, actually the moon isn't bright. The moon doesn't have any light at all. The moon reflects the light of the sun." And then I thought about that later. I was like, how incredibly powerful is that? That here's this thing we all stare at in the night sky that's so powerful, luminescent, moving, romantic, beautiful. And it's actually just a dark piece of rock. That it's only as bright as the light it reflects. My challenge to myself, and my challenge to all of you is, can we be that light? Can you be the light that makes the darkness in the world brighter, that makes the dark people in the world brighter? Put simply, I hope Martin Luther King isn't somewhere really offended. And it's not just this, I want you to be the light of kindness in the shitty, dark world. Right? The world that we spend, I know, so much time lamenting the way that it is, and then unself-consciously play into making even more that way. So this is how you do it. This is one of the ideas in my book. There's a lot of research on this about how you spread kindness even in the face of hate, online or off. A woman named Susan Benish did some research that this is backed by, about how by putting kind speech and compassion generously into the world, even in the face of hate, and trust me, I will put any of my trolls up against any of yours, any day, but that by responding with kindness and dignity, not only can you feel good about the way you've behaved, you can be some of that light in the world that makes the internet and the world around us in general a little brighter, a little better, a little kinder, a little more humane, a little more like the place we want the world to be. So, I realize this needs a little explanation. 2 practical points on how to do connection speech. I've watched my dog in the park, and my dog in the park doesn't ask before she sniffs other dogs' butts. She doesn't go up to them and say, are you a Republican dog or Democrat dog? Gay dog or straight dog? She just sniffs first, asks questions later. My point here, if you can stay with me, is that we should have this kind of boundless, generous curiosity about each other. Rather than, let's be honest, doing to others what we don't want them to do to us, which is prejudging them and putting them in boxes and deciding those are our people, but those people aren't. We don't want people to do that to us. Why would we do it to them? The other thing is humor. The power of humor. This is a lot of what Susan Benish's research on connection speech shows. Not laughing at people, we do that too much. That's cruel. But laughing at ourselves and laughing together. So I want to give one example to wrap us up about how, one little example of how I did this in real life. This is a tweet I got in 2014. I don't know if any of you remember when Justin Bieber was busted for drag racing in Miami. It was a huge story among the believers. And so I got this tweet from this guy, Todd Kincannon, known troll. And then he posted this picture. Now, I could have gone one of 2 ways with this, am I right? Could have been like, that's mean. I could have even gone like, that's homophobic, right? I could have gone there. Arguably is. Certainly wasn't nice, right? But I had a choice to make. Instead, I could find the humor in it. Also, by the way, I am secure enough in my sexuality and gender identity to find being compared to an international pop star like, a compliment. So this is what I wrote. Okay, so then this is what happened. I got press. I got actual press off these tweets. The front one is from Hollywood Press. The back one is actually from right-wing press. And in the right-wing press, this is what they reported. That Todd Kincannon, said troll, said, he gave me credit, major props, and this is my favorite part, he said he is now officially a Sally Kohn fan. But you see how that could have gone the other way, right? I just chose the kind road. I chose the funny road. I chose the slightly self-deprecating road. If you consider comparing me to Justin Bieber to be self-deprecating. Anyway, it didn't end so well for poor Todd Kincannon. Not my fault. But my point is, in these small moments and big moments, in our interactions online with the people we believe hate us, in our interactions in the world, in the workplace, wherever we are, we have the choice to be the bright light, the shining example of the kind of justice, kindness, humanity, respect for everyone that we, in our hearts, aim to be. We have to not just say that, we have to do it. We have to be the light of change. We have to make that road by walking it, make the high road by walking it, and be that beacon of brightness that makes everyone around us in the world a little bit brighter. Be the opposite of hate. Thank you so much.